Bonjour tout le monde! We finally did it! Yes, have a look over here. We finally hit 100,000 subscribers. That milestone is huge, and we did it just last month on June 10th, 2025. And that means I finally got my silver play button. So here it is. It's gonna go on my shelf. You'll see it just says, We in France has hit the 100,000 subscriber milestone. It's just a little plaque like this, nothing too crazy, but it is a huge milestone. So I put my play button safely over there on the shelf. And I want to start by saying that I asked you guys over on my community tab last year sometime to guess the date of when I'd actually hit 100K. And the person closest to that was Peter Greenham 7235. So I hope you're watching, Peter. He guessed July 14th, Bastille Day 2025, which is a month actually past the day I hit it, but you're the closest, so shout out to you, Peter. Thank you for being here. Now, to recap, to take you back in time, I started my channel back on August 9th, 2015, without much of a plan, and I made videos sporadically, like once a year. I had no strategy, just a loose idea of content that I wanted to make when the wind blew or when I felt like it, when I had free time, right? And that was good enough for me for a few years. It wasn't anything serious. But then in 2018, I realized I had an opportunity with We in France and a point of view, and that I thought I could help people. So I got more serious about YouTube. I started making content consistently, and I was rewarded for that because my behind the scenes bakery series video, the first one, went viral. And that date was November of 2018. And as I make this video, the total number of views channel-wide here on We in France is over 14 million, which it just blows my mind. So if you were one or many of those, thank you. I was probably a million of them myself, but it's just crazy how I've grown. And my focus on this channel has always been to help you to feel just more prepared when you interact with the French or on your trip to France. And over the years, if you've been following along, I made a ton of content on travel, on cultural differences. You seem to really love those, compare and contrast ones. I've done a lot of behind the scenes videos, my bakery series, dairy farm, a chocolate shop, even the pharmacy. And I've taken you to the farmer's market, walking tours that were live in different cities, a few cruise vlogs, a whole series on grocery stores in France. And even some hard stuff when one of those grocery store tours went sideways. And it turned out to be my worst ever experience in France across the board, even non-YouTube related. Share that here. And also things really close to my heart, like when my mom passed away a few years ago now. Now, YouTube is not my full-time job, but I had put a ton of time and energy and thought and money into my channel over the years. And 100K, it means a lot to me. And any YouTuber who's currently on the path to 100K, or if you've hit it yourself, you know what I'm talking about. I'm like shaking recording this video, actually, because this really means everything to me. And I think when casual viewers watch YouTube and they see channels with tons of subs, you know, that's what pops up in your feed. That's what's on your home screen. Big channels get lots of viewers. And you can maybe mistakenly think it's easy to get visibility on YouTube or that everyone hits 100K, but that is not the case. You know, for every big channel that's recommended to you, there are thousands in the background with great content that's struggling to get views. And in fact, here's a stat. Only 0.7% of active YouTube channels hit 100K. 0.7, not 7. So that's a huge deal. I am proud of myself for persevering, for continuing to show up even when things were really hard, and just hitting that milestone. You know, just personally and professionally behind the scenes, I haven't had the easiest 4 or so years. And the fact that I've been able to hit this milestone is even sweeter, just knowing what I've been going through in the background. So yeah, yay for me. I think we can cheer and shout our own praises. It's okay to do that, especially as women. So yeah, I am proud of myself. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you. And just to pull back the curtain a little bit, it might look really easy from the outside looking in to someone who has never made videos, but there's a lot that goes into making even short, simple videos, including this one, and it can be a lot to balance. So I don't just think of an idea, press record on my camera, show up and start talking, and things just magically come out of my mouth. You know, videos are recorded sometimes a month in advance. I always take notes, I practice, I have a list here of talking points. There are a lot of steps before that video makes its way to you. So just to give you a few examples, I've worn many hats: researcher, editor,
presenter, writer, proofreader, subtitler, thumbnail expert, contract negotiator, comment moderator, comment responder, social media promoter.
and I could keep going. And you have to always level up your skills and pick up new skills along the way and always learn what you don't know. And I have learned a ton. My channel, it's also served as a distraction from grief time and time again. It's given me purpose when I felt kind of blah. It served as a creative outlet, a way for me to push myself creatively and force me to use French in a professional setting, something that's new to me, and introduce me to a lot of new people, some in person, maybe you, and so much more. So again, that's just all to say thank you, merci, say it any way you want. I truly mean it, whether you've watched one of my videos or this is your first one, or you've watched many. I would not be here without you. So truly, truly, I know it sounds hollow to say it 100 times, but merci. And when you guys leave me a comment that says something I've spoken about or written about has helped you or opened your eyes to something new or inspired you to go after something in life, it means everything to me. It makes everything worth it. And sometimes it's even surprising when I hear from French people who tell me they love my channel, because I'm getting that stamp of approval from natives of the country I'm talking about. And that's the ultimate compliment. So if you're French and you enjoy what I do, an extra special thanks, special merci to you. Now, I also on that community tab asked you for YouTube related questions for a Q&A that I was going to tackle in this video. So I asked you to drop all of your YouTube related questions in that comment, and I am going to answer them next. So let's hop into the Q&A. All right, first, so Semi LVR asks, does YouTube pay you for subscribers? And I think this is kind of like stuff YouTubers don't always talk about. You might not be aware. The answer is no. YouTubers do not get paid for the number of subscribers. I got that plaque. There was no check with it. You don't get money for your subs. Someone with 10,000 subscribers versus 1 million, potentially they could make the same amount of money. But what it comes down to is views, the number of views your videos get. And that metric, it's broken down into something called RPM, revenue per meal. And that amount depends on your niche, how long people watch for, where the audience is based, a bunch of other factors. And that's a dollar amount for every 1,000 views. And it really does vary. Some channels make $2, some make upwards of 20 or 30, and it can fluctuate. Now, ad revenue I make on We in France, it's not a full-time income or anywhere close. I do make a little money. Taxes are steep here, social charges, but I do make money on sponsorships. I have an ebook that I only sell a handful of every month, if that. But yeah, those are the avenues where you can make a little bit more money, especially when you don't have any videos performing well, sponsors. Now here she also asked, have you been recognized in public? And there have been 2 occasions, 2 that I know of. One I actually documented with the person's permission here on this channel back on my Trader Joe's supermarket video in Delray Beach, Florida, when I was home visiting family. A beautiful person came up to me when I had a mask on. You know, it was like at the end of COVID. I was at Trader Joe's with the mask. She was at the adjacent cash register and she goes, "Hi, excuse me, are you Diane from We in France?" And I said, yes. And she recognized me just based on my voice, which I thought was really cool. So she was super sweet. We did a little clip for that video if you want to watch. And the other time caught me totally off guard. I was literally deep in thought, walking down the jetway to my plane in Atlanta. And one of the employees, a man, came up to me and said, "Excuse me, are you Diane?" And I'm thinking, oh God, did I leave my computer at the desk? Is there a problem with my passport? Did I lose my wallet? And he goes, "Oh, I love your channel. I love your videos." And I'm like, what? Yeah, hi. You know, it totally caught me off guard that, you know, just people might recognize me. So that's it. No one else has actually approached me or anything like that. Sometimes people have commented, "Oh, were you in Dinan Saturday? I saw you." And I'm like, no, that wasn't me. But yeah, if you do see me in public, like, feel free to say hi. I live in small town France, but I do go out and about and travel. So yeah, feel free to say hi. I'd love to meet you. All right, next, Aiko Snoops asks, how many hours do you work each week on YouTube content? Thank you for this question. It really varies. Sometimes it's on the small end, like 5 hours of time. Sometimes it's over 20 or even more. Like my viral bakery video, gosh, it took me over 20 hours to just edit that video, not even to like conceptualize and storyboard everything I wanted to do. So that took a very long time. That includes subtitles that I did with Tom. You have to manually do everything and then check it. there's a lot of steps. So I would say on average, probably 10 to 15 hours a week on average, but it can be more, especially if there's something that requires more time. And here she also asks, which tools do you use for editing? Over the years, I've used iMovie. Back in the day, I used Wondershare, Filmora when I did my bakery series. I've used Final Cut Pro and also Adobe Premiere Pro. It just depends what I'm working on, what computer I'm working on. That's it. And I use Canva as well as a tool for like photos and thumbnails and all of that. Okay, SueM.1392 asks, can you tell us about content that didn't work? And I would have to say Christmas markets. My Christmas content did not perform well, and it's a shame because I love Christmas. I love Christmas markets. I thought the videos were cool. They took a ton of time, required a little travel this year. I took the train to Nantes, cost a bit of money too, just kind of getting there and buying some things to show you guys so I wouldn't get chased away for filming without being a customer. So if you did like my Christmas content and it was something you want to see more of, let me know, but that's probably something I will not do again. Also, I pivoted away from live stream. I started those back in the day when it was kind of a novelty, a new thing before TikTok and all that. I just feel like now, like a lot of people live stream, it's not as much of like a new and cool thing. Yeah, I just don't do like city walks and all of that anymore. But if you want to see that stuff again, let me know. I did a poll on my channel just kind of asking, do you guys like shorts? Do you like live streams? And I think I was like 40% that said, nah, I'm not really interested in live streams or anything like that. So I'm like, okay. Okay, next, CCAC. She's asked, how has your day job changed as you've progressed? Do you balance your time any differently now versus then? I would say, regardless of where we are in life, physically, if we're abroad or home, whatever, life is a balance, right? Whether you're dealing with family, friends, your romantic relationship, your work, like whatever it is, it's always a balance in life. And yeah, YouTube, factors into the mix there. YouTube for me is something I really work on in the weekends and evenings. I'm a freelancer. I've always been self-employed. I've had some clients for years that have taken me actually all over the place. One of my jobs, I managed a project that took me in just like a 3-month span to Haiti, Kyrgyzstan, Nigeria, and Rwanda. So I've been around and I try to balance all this. Sometimes the time zones work in my favor. If a client is on the other side of the world, that means maybe in the morning I have 3 hours to myself and I could use that for YouTube. But to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't always balanced things well. I mean, sometimes I feel bad for Tom because I'm so lost in thought with like my notebook of shots I need to get for a video that will go on a weekend away. And I'm like, oh God, I'm not even listening to what he's saying. Sorry, Tom, because I'm like, oh, I need to get a shot of this. I need to do this. We need to go here. And it's like, am I really enjoying what's right in front of me or am I just trying to make a video? So I've kind of cut back on that and I've taken a more relaxed pace. I will say when my mom was really sick and after she passed away, I was pumping out a video a week kind of as a coping mechanism, as a distraction. And yeah, my channel grew, but it was kind of blocking me from processing the grief because I was running away from it. So it's like, have I always balanced things well? No. Has it resulted in growth for the channel? Yes. But has it been a personal detriment as well sometimes? Yes. So I guess what I could say there, the short answer, Cece, is it's a work in progress and I have scaled back. You'll see I don't do weekly videos anymore. It's just, sometimes it's a lot. If it's busy in my professional life or in my personal life outside of YouTube, something has to give. And for me, YouTube is kind of borderline hobby. So that's what gets the plug pulled on it, YouTube sometimes. All right, next, Alice Richmond, 8708. She asks, I'm curious to know about your subscriber distribution in terms of country. What % are Americans, for example? So I would say over the past 365 days, 35% are in the US. I don't know if they're actually US born, US citizens, but 35% are in the US, 32% in France, which actually did surprise me. I thought since I basically make content in English for English speakers, I figured I would have over 50% in the US and the UK or Australia, but that's not the case. But something that really surprised me is the percentage of people who are several decades older than me. I have over 25% that are over 65 years old and over like 45% who are over 55 years old and 61% of them are male. So that actually did surprise me. I thought I'd have more in like the 25 to 45 range. It was just especially surprising to me because I don't talk about retiring to France. But hey, I love you guys, so thank you so much. All right, next. Author Isabella Presley. Author, is that what that says? Isabella, there we go. Author Isabella Presley 13. How has it been to make this channel in France? And I would say it's been eye-opening. Sometimes it's been frustrating. Sometimes I've cried. I've been completely overwhelmed, had panic attacks. Other times it's been heartwarming. It's been educative. Everything that runs the gamut from amazing to really low. But overall, I would say it has been a positive, a journey full of personal growth and learning, a lesson on how to deal with people, on how to make friends. I've met so many amazing people in this community. So thank you again for being here and participating and leaving comments. A lot of my videos where I've done behind the scenes, it's forced me to use French in a professional setting. You know, I don't just walk into a bakery and say, hey, can I just hang out with your staff for 4 hours? And they're like, yeah, sure. No, I knew the guy who owned the bakery, Mr. Travers, for years. It was a gradual process. Same with the chocolate shop, same with the pharmacy. There are meetings back and forth. There's discussions. They want to know what you're going to be doing exactly, how they're going to be portrayed. And all of that gets done in French because, as I always tell you, contrary to the popular belief, most French people do not speak English to any higher level. So yeah, especially if you live in a small town, get ready to speak French. And also you're in France, so you need to be speaking French anyway. And that's really pushed me out of my comfort zone. I've had to look up vocabulary words for different industries like the dairy farm. I didn't know what different things were called when you're milking a cow, or like the farm terminology and all that. I also learned how to use a drone. Gosh, from the tech side of things, I've learned how to use a lot of things. The drone was in my Peter Hahn Bouvray video, a wine video that I'm really proud of, one of the older ones, so I'll try to link that here. Watch it. I love that one. I also used the drone in the dairy farm series as well. So yeah, to answer that, Isabella, there have been so many good things, a few bad, like I said, but mostly good things that have pushed me as a professional, in my personal life, exposed me to so many people socially, just meeting so many people. Most of all, like making content here, it's given me a purpose to kind of go out and see things. You know, I would say, oh yeah, let's go to Brittany for the weekend. Yeah, Tom, we better go. I got to make that video, right? So I kind of jokingly blame it on YouTube when I'm the one who wanted to go to Brittany, but figure out a way to kind of do a live stream while we were there in Dinard or something like that, or Saint-Malo, you know? So it's kind of been like a funny crutch that I've used to say, yeah, let's get out and do things. Got to do it for YouTube. And that's been great because I've seen more places than maybe I would have regularly seen if I didn't have a YouTube channel. It's also helped me come out of my shell. Like, you might get the impression just from how I present on camera and everything that I'm a really outgoing, extroverted person, but I'm not. I'm an introvert. I generally don't always speak up. You know, I'm someone who tends to be a little reserved. I'm not like the life of the party. I don't have 500 friends, but just showing up here and presenting to you, putting myself out there in front of the world, in a sense, it's been huge. It's been crazy. It's been crazy good. And that just goes toward what I said about personal growth. So this has been a long and windy answer, but I hope that was a little bit of what you were asking. And if not, feel free to leave your questions in the comments. If I didn't get to yours, or if you want anything clarified, I'd be happy to answer. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Again, un grand merci. I'll see you next time, right back here on We in France. Salut!